Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, and everybody is looking forward to learn this particular new spectrum, which is Wi-Fi 6E or 6 gigahertz. So my plan is to start a separate topic on Wi-Fi 6E because altogether it's a very vast and very important topic as of today or as of upcoming days for new deployments. And I know most of us in wireless world wants to learn Wi-Fi 6E, and Wi-Fi 6E access point configuration, I would say very first thing what everybody would need is to configure that 6E access point in site survey mode, because we need to learn how do we do the survey of Wi-Fi 6E. So very first thing which I will be covering in this particular topic is how do you configure Wi-Fi 6E AP in site survey mode. Alright, so today I'm going to cover site survey mode configuration on Catalyst Wi-Fi 6E. Now why I'm highlighting Catalyst? Because you can configure the same access point in Meraki in site survey mode as well. However, today I'm going to cover about site survey mode configuration on Catalyst. Alright, so let's start. The prerequisite is obviously you need a Wi-Fi 6E access points. In our case, we got 9166D1. Then you need a software which is minimum 17.12.1 on iOS XE release or later release. And you need a console cable, and you need a source as a battery pack which is PoE Plus capable, or if you have a switch which is supporting PoE Plus, well and good. If I search iOS XE 9800 recommended release, and if I see here, Cisco is giving a recommendation of using 17.12.2. So that's why I installed 17.12.2. So the second point is about AP specific wireless software support. So you need to have minimum 17.12.1 to support 9166D1. Where do I get this reference? So if I go to wireless compatibility matrix, you can see the details about what is the version which is supported as a first release for 9166D1. So you can see here minimum is 17.12.1, but I have installed 17.12.2. Why? Because if you go here and if you see recommended iOS XE releases for 9800, you will see it is recommended to use 17.12.2. That's why I installed 17.12.2. So if I go back to my controller CLI and if I see here the version, you can see it is 17.12.2. So we are good from the controller software version perspective. This third point is about console cable. So why do we need console cable? Because once you join the AP to the controller, you will console into the AP, and you will make sure the AP has got the latest version, which is 17.12.2, which is nothing but your controller version. And after that, you will execute one magic command to convert site survey mode, to convert to the site survey mode. I will cover that in the later slide. And fourth point is nothing but the power source. So you need either PoE Plus capable battery pack, or you need a switch with PoE Plus support. So if you see now, how do you configure AP into the site survey mode? So basically, if you want to go step-by-step procedure, you will see first thing is you will join this AP to controller which is running 17.12.2. Once the AP joins to the controller, you will console to the AP and configure command as AP-type space site-survey. Once you configure that command, it'll actually reboot that AP, and it'll come up with the site survey mode. But let's say if you have configured or let's say you executed AP type site survey command, and after AP comes back, if you are not able to see any SSID, that means there is something wrong on the country code configuration. So you also need to see your right controller, or let's say correct country code configuration on the AP. If not, you need to configure it. So once, let's say your country code is correct, you executed AP type site survey, you should able to see SSIDs, site survey SSIDs, on all three bands, 2.4, 5 and 6 gigahertz. Very next point is try connecting to that survey SSID. And once you're connected to the survey SSID, try to access the web interface of access point. Once you're able to access the web interface of access point, make sure your required RF settings is configured. So you need to configure TX power level. You also need to configure, let's say, channel on 6 gigahertz. There might be a necessity for you to configure either 40 megahertz as channel bonding or 80 megahertz as channel bonding. It's based on your requirement. You need to make sure that your channel settings are there. Once everything is ready, you are good to go ahead and conduct the survey with the same AP model, right? So I will go through the actual configuration. I will also go through the AP getting joined to 17.12.2 controller and consoling to the AP, executing that command. We will go step by step and try to verify that we are able to see the SSID on respective bands. All right. So let's go to the lab. So this is my controller, which is running 17.12.2. If you see here my configuration, if you want to see how do you install a controller on ESXi, I have got a video. I'll share the link as well in the description, but I got a separate video which talks about how do you install a controller on ESXi, what interface to be selected, how do you map interfaces, how do you configure IP addressing, and NTP server and everything. So that details I have given in the first video. Now here I have configured gig 1 as out of band management with the IP address 192.168.1.230. And then I have configured gig 2 as a trunk port, which I have allowed all the required VLANs. And then I created wireless management VLAN as 40. And I configured IP address as 40.230. So if I want to ping 192.168.40.1, I should able to ping. So I'm able to reach to the gateway, which is my other side of the network above the switch. So I got a switch as well. So if you see here, this is my switch and this is where my AP is connected. All right. So my AP is connected to port let me check, it is 13. Yeah, so it is connected to right now it is not connected, but I have configured this port for AP connection. So I don't have anything on the switch. So as soon as AP gets connected to this particular port, AP is supposed to get IP address from VLAN 30. So where is the DSCP pool for that? So let me go to ESXi and show you my DSCP configuration as well. So this is my DSCP server, and if you see my DSCP server configuration for 192.168.30, here it is. So this is my pool for AP to get IP address. As of now, I got one AP which is which I was testing with not Wi-Fi 6E but the other AP which is Wi-Fi 6 AP. Now I am going to connect 9166D1 to this the switch port, which is configured with VLAN 30 and getting IP address from this particular scope. Now additionally what I've done is I've configured option 43. So my IP address for the controller is 192.168.40.230 and this is the hexadecimal value for 192.168.40.230. Alright, so hopefully AP should join this controller. Let me connect my AP. So gig 1/0/13 I'm connecting to AP. As you can see, AP is powered on. Now we'll have to wait for AP to come back, but what I'll do is I'll console to this AP so that I can see the booting process. So I have consoled to the access point. I should able to see the booting process for the access point now from console. So very new access point 9166D1 and I'm first time logging into this AP, and I'm going to proceed to configure this into the site survey mode. As you can see, it has downloaded the image from the controller, which is 17.12.2. Now it will try to again download success. So if I reduce this, as you can see, last disconnect reason is image download success. So our AP has come back successfully, and it has completed the image download. Now we'll have to see if it comes back to join successfully the controller. Okay, so sending join request, it has got join response from controller. AP image version is the same version as controller version. So AP had joined the controller. Yes, AP had joined the controller 7, which is with the name as C1900-M-1-17.12.2. So our AP is in the controller now. I should able to see now. Yes, it had joined. And if I want to see show AP tag summary, yeah, everything is default tag. So AP is here, and if you see here, the default username and password is username Cisco, and password is capital C Cisco. So this is show capwap CLI client RCB, and you can see here my controller is 40.230 and software version. So everything looks good from controller perspective and from AP perspective. So our first step in this particular slide is completed. Now we need to execute AP type site survey command through console. So we have a console here. So this is our console access, as you know. Now I'll execute this command, but before so as you can see, earlier we were not able to see 6 GHz radio by default enabled because AP was part of ROW regulatory domain. As you can see, the part code is 9166 D1-ROW. So to make this interface up, you basically need to configure country code on the access point. So once you configure this country code as whatever country code you are supposed to, AP will reboot and AP will come back having a 6 GHz enabled. As you can see here, it is showing now 6 GHz is enabled, and it has taken channel width as 20 MHz. So this looks okay, and 5 GHz slot 1, 6 GHz slot 2, and 2.4 GHz slot 0. So channel 1 36 and channel 1 on 6 GHz. So we should be fine in terms of AP AP registering to the controller. Now what I'll do is I'm going to configure AP type site survey as mentioned in this, and then we will see how AP comes back. Okay, so our controller walk is done. You can see AP has joined to this controller. So controller part is done. Now we have got a AP survey. Before that, I'll see what's the IP address, so that in case I miss this, I should be able to log in. So let me note down this IP address 30.12. Okay, AP type site survey ? All right, so this is very important command, right? And once I execute this command, I'll have to reload this AP again, and now it will not come to the controller. It will go and start showing this AP as site survey mode it'll reboot and it'll only, let's see how it comes back with, but let me execute this command and see how AP comes back with. Yes, enter. All right, so now I have configured AP type site survey, and hopefully AP should come back with site survey mode now. Let me see if AP has gone from controller. It is still there. All right, okay. I can see the AP's the LED status is blinking dark blue. So okay. So you can see here AP has come with name as site-survey-AP. Now if I want to see the interfaces, what I'll do is I will access the GUI of AP 192.168.30.12. Okay. Okay, once AP comes back with site survey mode, the default username and password it is taking as admin. So username is admin and password is admin. So initially when AP by default you connect to the network, the username is Cisco, small CISCO, and password is capital C and all small letters Cisco. After you configure everything, AP gets registered to the controller, but you will not able to proceed to configure AP type site survey command, because once it registered to the controller takes the control of that AP. So you have to enable SSH and configure the credential on the controller. So you either configure on AP or you configure to the default AP join profile. So I configured on default AP join profile, username and password. Then I could get into the console. Then I executed command as AP type site survey. AP got rebooted. AP came back with the site survey mode, but again username and password came back as default admin. This we need to keep in mind while doing the configuration. You can see here I could see 5 gigahertz. I could see 2.4 gigahertz country code as none, 5 gigahertz country code as none, and 6 gigahertz as well country code as none. So what we need to do is we need to configure country code, and so you have to configure country code into the CLI because you won't get option into GUI. So the command is configure AP country code GB, because I'm in UK, so I'm configuring country code as GB. And now once I configured that, it is again going to reboot and come back with GB as a country code. Let's see, hopefully it'll come back with all config and RS. Okay, now if I again take a GUI access and access with admin, hopefully I should able to see country code as GB. All right, so all looks good now. 2.4 gigahertz it's enabled, and channel is 1, TX power level. So configure TX power level is in dBm, 10 dBm. I configure 2, 7 dBm. If I configure 8, 4. They're following me because I could see here everything looks fine now. What I'm trying to understand now is what's the final configuration. I need to make it working. So I'll go with 2.4 gigahertz as channel selection 1 and TX power level as, let's say, 5. It doesn't take. So if I want to configure 8 dBm, this is 4 dBm, this is 7 dBm, 10 dBm. So I'll go ahead with configuring 2. Okay, 7 dBm channel 1. Alright, so as you can see here, AP by default comes with site-survey-AP. So we know now it has got 4 dB difference in between all radios.